The galaxy was vast, ancient, and full of civilizations that had risen and fallen over millennia. Stars burned with colors unseen from Earth, and worlds teemed with life unimaginable to humans. Humanity, by contrast, was young, barely a century into interstellar travel. The alien powers of the galaxy saw them as weak, primitive, and irrelevant. On Earth, in the orbit of the blue planet, a fleet of ships prepared for its first official demonstration to the Galactic Council. The humans had built a modest number of vessels, sleek, functional, and heavily engineered. But compared to the monstrous dreadnoughts of the oldest empires, they looked like toys. Commander Elias Vega stood on the bridge of the flagship, HMS Resolute, staring at the viewport. He could see the fleet behind him, 20 smaller corvettes and frigates, each manned by crews trained to the peak of human endurance. Their sensors were advanced, their engines optimized for speed and agility, but no one expected the aliens to take them seriously. "Scanners report the Council's demonstration fleet approaching, sir," said Lieutenant Amara Lee. Her fingers danced over the console with precision. 15 capital ships, 5 carriers, and several cruisers, shields at full strength. Elias nodded. "As expected. Remember, we're observers first. No sudden maneuvers unless instructed. They already think we're nothing. Let's not prove them right yet." The Council's fleet approached like a living constellation. Their ships glowed with alien energy signatures, massive hulls bristling with weapons humans hadn't yet learned to counter. From a distance, the Resolute felt like a child standing next to giants. Admiral Vorton of the Jarek Empire, the oldest and most powerful member of the Council, smiled as his ship glided into view. His voice boomed across the universal translator. "Ah, the humans. So small, so fragile. Are they really here to observe or to beg for assistance?" Elias felt a twinge of irritation but kept his expression neutral. "We are here to learn, Admiral, and to represent Earth." Vorton laughed, a deep, resonant sound that seemed to vibrate through the hull. "Learn from us. Your little fleet will barely last a volley against a cruiser, but very well. Watch and learn, fragile ones." The demonstration began. Alien ships rotated in complex formations, firing energy beams that tore through holographic targets with deadly precision. Explosions lit up space as if the stars themselves were bleeding. The humans observed silently, taking careful notes. Every move, every angle, every pattern was catalogued. "Impressive," Lieutenant Lee whispered, "but predictable. They repeat the same formations in every demo." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Exactly. That's the weakness we need to exploit someday." Despite the spectacle, there was pride in the human fleet. Their ships were small but nimble. Their engines could make sudden twists that even alien sensors sometimes failed to track. Humans had built them to think like predators, not monsters. And predators, as history on Earth had shown, often outsmarted bigger, stronger prey. The demonstration ended with a flourish of light and a display of alien firepower so vast it could have destroyed a small planet. The humans applauded politely, but inside the bridge, Elias and his crew were analyzing every detail. "Sir," said Communications Officer Tarek, "we are receiving a private message from the Council. They wish to speak with us, alone." Elias' heart sank slightly. Alone with the Council usually meant scrutiny, ridicule, or worse, dismissal. "Patch it through," he ordered. A calm, crystalline voice filled the bridge. "Humans of Earth, we have observed your fleet. You have traveled far, but it is insignificant. Your presence here is curious, and your ships are, frankly, amusing. We allow you to stay and watch, but understand this. You are not a threat. You are a minor novelty." Elias clenched his jaw but kept his tone measured. "We appreciate the opportunity to observe, Council members. We hope to learn from your experience." The alien voice hesitated, as if sensing the subtle warning in his words. "Do not mistake your eagerness for understanding as skill. You will learn, yes, but you are weak, frail. a fledgling species unworthy of the stars you now occupy. The message ended. Elias leaned back, exhaling slowly. Underestimation, he muttered. That's our advantage. Humans had learned long ago that others often judged them by appearances. On Earth, humans had conquered environments that no other species could survive: frozen tundras, deserts, jungles, and oceans. They had adapted to every challenge. Now in space, they would prove the same principle. Strength was not just size or firepower. It was ingenuity, adaptability, and relentless persistence. Days passed. The Council continued its displays of power and technological superiority, confident that humans were spectators, not players. Meanwhile, humanity's engineers worked tirelessly. Using advanced AI, quantum computations, and human intuition, they optimized their fleet systems. Weapon energy distribution, shield modulation, sensor sweeps, everything was designed to maximize efficiency, minimize waste, and exploit gaps in enemy technology. "We may be small," said Chief Engineer Rana, "but our ships think in ways they never will. Our designs evolve faster than theirs, faster than anyone's, and we've got tricks they won't see coming." Elias smiled. "That's exactly what I like to hear. Keep pushing. Every system, every program, nothing is off limits. We'll be ready when it matters." Then came the unexpected signal. Far at the edge of human-dominated space, sensors picked up a fleet unlike anything seen before. Massive, angular, and pulsating with alien energy, the ships were unlike any Council technology. Lieutenant Lee frowned. Unknown fleet, large, weapon signatures high, moving fast toward populated systems, could be a threat. Elia's stomach tightened. "Prepare for alert status. Notify Council fleets, and prepare our ships. We might not be observers for long." The Council, confident in their superiority, barely reacted. The oldest empires assumed it was a minor incursion, one they could crush with minimal effort. Humans, however, analyzed the movement carefully. Using predictions based on observed speed, formation patterns, and energy signatures, they realized this was no ordinary fleet. "These ships, they're not just raiders," Elias said. "They're organized, strategic, and adaptive. Whoever they are, they're coming for real." Humans worked day and night, preparing their fleet. The officers drilled maneuvers, the crews practiced emergency repairs in zero gravity, and the engineers implemented unconventional tactics. They were small, but their thinking was enormous. Meanwhile, the Council continued its arrogance. Admiral Vorton dismissed warnings from his own fleets. "The humans, they are irrelevant. They cannot hope to match the Zirans. They will hide as they always do." "Zirans?" Elias repeated under his breath. The name sounded cold, alien, and merciless. Intelligence reports suggested the Zirans had destroyed entire colonies without hesitation. Every previous encounter with them had ended in utter annihilation. But humans had never been known for surrender. On Earth, they had survived catastrophes that would have wiped out entire species. Humanity thrived on the impossible. Elias gathered his crew. "Listen carefully. The Council believes we are weak. The Zirans may think the same. But humans don't fight by their rules. We adapt, we innovate, and we survive. Every system, every tactic, every ship is part of a bigger plan. We will prove them wrong, not just the Zirans, but everyone who doubts us." The crew nodded, determination in their eyes. Fear was present, it always was, but it was harnessed, sharpened into resolve. Humans did not need to be the largest or the strongest. They only needed to be smarter, faster, and more relentless. As the first signals of the Ziran fleet appeared on the edge of the human sensor grid, Elias felt a familiar thrill. History on Earth had always repeated itself. The world underestimated humanity, and humanity had always risen to the challenge. This time, the stakes were cosmic. The humans of Earth were about to enter a galaxy that had laughed at them, and they would show everyone, alien and human alike, That weakness was only in the eyes of those who failed to see true strength. Above all, one truth echoed through the bridge of the HMS Resolute. The galaxy had misjudged humanity, and that was the greatest mistake they could ever make. The distant stars flickered like distant embers, but for the humans of Earth, the galaxy was no longer a place to admire from afar. It was a battlefield. Sensors on the HMS Resolute blared a warning. The Xeran fleet was advancing faster than predicted. Massive ships, dark and angular, moved with terrifying precision, their weapons glowing like molten veins of energy. They had already destroyed small colonies at the fringes of human space, leaving no survivors. The reports sent a chill down every officer's spine, but fear alone would not stop humans from acting. Admiral Vega, Lieutenant Amara Lee said, her voice steady despite the tension, the Xerans are splitting into 3 squadrons. They are heading straight for the Karsus and Talvan colonies. If they reach them, everything will be lost. Elias Vega clenched his jaw. Prepare for immediate engagement. I want our fleet to form defensive perimeters around both colonies. Frigates and corvettes' speed and agility will be your strength. Keep the capital ships in the center. We fight smart, not just hard. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. Humans might not have had the numbers or the raw power of the Council fleets, but they had something the older civilizations often underestimated: ingenuity under pressure. Sir, Communications Officer Tarek spoke up, we're receiving messages from Council fleets. They are withdrawing. They claim they cannot engage the Xerans directly. They advise we retreat. Elias shook his head. Retreat? Never. We don't run. We survive, we adapt, and we fight. Set course to intercept the Xerans and protect the colonies. Everyone, this is the moment humans show their true strength. The first clash came in the shadow of the Talvan System's gas giant. Xeran ships descended like predators, firing long-range energy beams that could slice through human shields if they were caught off guard. Shields holding at 80%, shouted Lieutenant Lee. They're stronger than anything we've tested. Don't panic, Elias replied. Remember your drills. Zigzag decoy flares spread the fleet. We hit them where they aren't looking. Small human corvettes darted in unpredictable patterns, drawing Xeran fire away from the larger frigates. Energy beams that could have destroyed a human ship instead hit empty space, fizzing harmlessly as decoy drones emitted false signals. Engineering, reroute 20% of power to forward shields and divert the rest to engines. Keep us agile, Elias ordered. Chief Engineer Rana's fingers flew over the control panel. Aye, Admiral, engines at maximum output. We'll dance circles around them if needed. The human strategy was working. The Xerans were powerful but methodical. They expected predictable movements, coordinated volleys, and direct confrontations. The humans gave them none of that. Sir, Tarek said, his voice tense, we've disabled one of their cruisers. Targeting their weak points with precision strikes is working. Elias allowed himself a small nod. Good, keep it up. Every strike counts. Hit their engines, their weapons nodes, anything to slow them down. Delay them at all costs. The battle raged for hours. Despite being outnumbered, humans held their ground. The corvettes darted between Xeran ships, launching precise torpedoes that exploited structural weaknesses identified by their AI. Frigates followed with concentrated fire at critical systems. Every human ship that fell was mourned, but each loss became a lesson. Sensors quickly scanned destroyed vessels, revealing weaknesses for the rest of the fleet to exploit. Humans learned faster than their enemy adapted. Sir, Lieutenant Lee reported, the Xerans are attempting a flanking maneuver. They're aiming for the Talvan colony's surface defenses. Elias' eyes narrowed. Form a counterflank. Use the asteroids for cover. They won't expect us to use terrain in space. The human fleet twisted and weaved between massive asteroid fields, using them as shields against energy beams. Ziran ships struggled to track them through the shifting maze. Human engineers coordinated microbursts of energy that allowed ships to slip between the asteroids faster than Ziran targeting systems could calculate. Impressive, Rana muttered. They're stronger, but we're smarter. The Talvan colonies had begun evacuating civilians, but humans did not leave them undefended. With precision, human ships drew Zirans away from the planets while deploying automated defense drones to intercept smaller raiders. Energy beams clashed against drones in brilliant flashes of light, protecting cities that had been deemed hopeless. Hours passed. The Zirans, frustrated by human unpredictability, unleashed their full firepower. One massive dreadnought fired a beam so powerful it could have obliterated an entire city in a single shot. "Shields at 30%, Lieutenant Lee shouted. "They're focusing on the Resolute." Elias felt a surge of determination. "Distribute shield energy to the frigates. We won't go down alone. Target the dreadnought's energy conduits. Keep it distracted." The human fleet launched coordinated attacks, small but precise. Torpedoes, plasma pulses, and synchronized volleys struck the dreadnought's engines and weapon nodes. The massive ship staggered, forced to retreat temporarily, giving the humans breathing space. Even the council fleets watching from afar were forced to admit the humans were doing what they should not be able to do: survive against impossible odds. But survival alone was not enough. Humans fought to delay the Zirans long enough for colonies to evacuate and for Earth to prepare reinforcements. Every maneuver, every strike, was calculated to maximize effect while minimizing losses. By the end of the first engagement, several human ships were damaged, some critically. But not a single colony had been destroyed, and the Zirans had been slowed, a first in recorded history. The council fleets, who had once laughed at humans, now observed in stunned silence. "Sir," Lieutenant Lee said quietly, "they're retreating for now." Elias exhaled, though he knew the battle was far from over. "Good, but they will return, and next time they will be ready. We must learn everything we can from this engagement, every movement, every weakness. Humanity survives today, but tomorrow we aim to turn the tables." Engineers immediately began repairing damaged ships, while analysts studied Ziran patterns. Every human officer understood one thing clearly: the Zirans had underestimated humans, and that was their greatest mistake. Communications from Earth confirmed that colonies were safe. Civilians cheered when they learned human ships had intercepted the Zirans. News from other systems began to trickle in, reports of humans holding their ground against a threat the galaxy feared. Admiral Vega addressed his crew on the Resolute. "Today, we proved something important. The galaxy may think we are weak. They may see our ships as small and fragile, but strength is not only measured in size or numbers. Strength is in courage, in intelligence, in creativity, and in determination. Today, humans survived what many believed impossible. Tomorrow we will strike back, and when we do, the galaxy will finally see who we truly are." The crew erupted in applause, not for victory, but for the recognition of what humans were capable of. They were outnumbered, outgunned, and underestimated, but they were never outsmarted. As the fleet regrouped in orbit around Earth, Elias stood on the bridge, staring into the stars. The Ziran threat was only beginning, but humans had shown the first glimmer of what they could achieve. They were clever, adaptable, and relentless. The galaxy had written them off, but humanity was far from done. "Prepare for the next engagement," Elias ordered. "We've learned their tactics, we've seen their strength. Now it's time the Zirans learn ours." Below him, the crew worked tirelessly. Every repair, every calculation, every training drill prepared them for what was coming. The human fleet was small, but it was alive, thinking, adapting, surviving. And in a galaxy that had mocked them for centuries, that alone was a victory worth fighting for. Above all, one thought burned in Elias' mind as he watched distant stars blink like eyes in the darkness. The galaxy thought humans were weak. They had no idea what was coming. The Zirans had retreated, for now. But the humans of Earth knew better than to celebrate. Their survival was temporary. The next encounter would be bigger, deadlier, and more dangerous. Commander Elias Vega stood on the bridge of the HMS Resolute, scanning the stars. He had spent days analyzing the Ziran tactics, studying every movement, every pattern, every weak point. Humanity had survived their first test. Now it was time to turn their intelligence and ingenuity into power. Engineering report, Elias ordered. Chief Engineer Rana stepped forward. We've upgraded the shield harmonics and optimized the energy distribution. Every frigate and corvette can now sustain full shields for longer while delivering more firepower in shorter bursts. We've also modified the torpedoes, improved guidance, better payload, and faster velocity. Elias nodded. Excellent. Sensor teams, give me every detail on Ziran fleet composition and energy signatures. We need to know them better than they know themselves. Lieutenant Lee replied, all data compiled, sir. Their dreadnoughts rely heavily on linear targeting algorithms. Their cruisers have predictable energy cycles. We can exploit this. Elias smiled. Exactly. Humans adapt. The galaxy thinks raw strength wins battles. But brains, coordination, and unpredictability win wars. Prepare for our counterattack. Over the next few days, humanity's engineers, tacticians, and pilots worked in perfect synchrony. Simulation runs, tactical drills, and real-time adjustments transformed their fleet from a defensive force into an offensive machine. Small ships were fast and agile, large frigates were mobile powerhouses, and every crew member understood their role in a coordinated strike. We may be outnumbered, Elias said in a briefing to the fleet commanders, but we are not outsmarted. They underestimate us because they see only the surface. We will strike where they least expect it. They think humans flee. They will learn that humans fight. The Ziran fleet reappeared near the Boran cluster, a system of dense asteroid fields and gas giants. Their massive ships glowed with deadly energy, advancing in tight formations. They assumed humans would meet them in open space, vulnerable and predictable. They were wrong. Engage stealth protocols, Elias ordered. Human ships dispersed among the asteroid fields, hiding their numbers and positions. Torpedo pods and sensor drones were deployed to confuse the enemy. The Zirans fired cautiously, unsure of what lay ahead. Lieutenant Lee's fingers flew across her console. Sensors indicate multiple false signatures. They are reacting to empty threats. We're drawing them in. Elias nodded. Good, keep them guessing. Wait for the moment they overcommit. Then the trap was sprung. Human frigates accelerated through hidden channels in the asteroid field, firing coordinated volleys at critical Ziran cruisers. Torpedoes struck engines, energy pulses disabled weapons, and drones disrupted targeting arrays. The Ziran staggered, unable to respond effectively to attacks from unpredictable angles. Sir, we've taken out one of their dreadnoughts' weapon nodes, Lee reported. It's staggering. Shields are weakening. Elias allowed himself a rare smile. Now everyone push forward. Hit their engines, break their formations. Show them humans are not prey, they are predators. The human fleet moved like a living organism. Corvettes darted in and out, striking and retreating, while frigates unleashed sustained energy bursts on exposed systems. The Zirans had never encountered such precise coordination. Their traditional tactics, relying on brute force and intimidation, failed against the humans' adaptability. Sir, Rana shouted, we've discovered a pattern. The Zirans, linear targeting systems can't track multiple agile targets simultaneously. If we split into swarms, we can overwhelm their defenses. Do it, Elias commanded. The fleet split into smaller groups, each moving independently but following a central strategy. Ziran energy beams missed again and again, as human ships struck weak points and withdrew before counterattacks could land. Even the council fleets observing from afar could no longer ignore the humans. Ships of the oldest empires whispered among themselves, astonished at the coordination, strategy, and courage displayed by the tiny human fleet. For the first time in history, humans were not only surviving, they were dominating the battlefield. "Sir," Lee reported, "we have the Zirans in retreat. Their formations are breaking apart. They are attempting to withdraw." Elia's eyes narrowed. "Do not let them leave. Press the advantage, but do it carefully. We want to teach them a lesson, not annihilate everything. They must understand that humans are not to be underestimated." Using the asteroid fields and gas giant gravity wells, human ships executed precise flanking maneuvers. Torpedoes and energy volleys disabled engines and weapons of multiple Ziran cruisers. Panic spread through the Ziran ranks as their dreadnoughts struggled to maintain formation. "Sir, they're signaling surrender or negotiation," Lee said. Elias considered it. Humans had proven their point and the galaxy had witnessed it. "Open a secure channel. Let them speak. Make it clear that humans are not only capable of surviving, they are capable of winning." A holographic Ziran commander appeared on the bridge, towering and alien, its bioluminescent skin pulsing with agitation. "Humans, we underestimated you. Your fleet, your tactics, you are not as weak as your kind appear. This engagement, you have survived, you have impressed." Elias responded calmly with the weight of history behind him. "The galaxy has underestimated humans for too long. We are not weak. We adapt. We endure. We survive, and if necessary, we strike." The Ziran commander paused, then slowly withdrew. "This is not over." Elias turned to his crew. "No, it's never over. But today we've shown that intelligence, adaptability, and courage matter as much as numbers and firepower. Today, humans are no longer to be underestimated." In the following days, the galaxy took notice. News of the human fleet's victory spread rapidly. Minor empires sent emissaries to Earth, offering cautious alliances. Larger powers began to reconsider their assumptions. Humanity, once seen as a minor curiosity, was now recognized as a rising force. Even the Council, who had once laughed at human ships, quietly studied their tactics. Human ingenuity had turned a defensive action into a resounding offensive success. Analysts debated endlessly. How could a small fleet defeat a larger, more powerful enemy without the vast resources of older civilizations? Back on the HMS Resolute, Elias reflected on what had occurred. Humans do not rely solely on size, weapons, or intimidation. We rely on each other, on our minds, and on the belief that impossible is only a word, not a fact. The galaxy has learned that today. Tomorrow, we prepare for what comes next. The human fleet, battered but victorious, returned to Earth's orbit. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair ships. Analysts compiled data from the battlefield. Every crew member knew that the next battle would be even harder, but humanity had proven a fundamental truth. They could face any challenge and survive. Admiral Vega addressed the crew one final time before the fleet dispersed for repairs. "Remember this moment. Remember the look of the Zirans when they realized they had underestimated humans. This is only the beginning. We will continue to grow, to learn, and to show the galaxy that strength is not always obvious. Intelligence, courage, and determination are just as deadly as any weapon. We have turned the tide today, and tomorrow the galaxy will know that humans are not to be trifled with." Below him, the crew prepared for maintenance, drills, and training. Every person understood that survival was only the first step. Humanity's true strength lay in their ability to innovate, to adapt, and to fight with a unity that no alien empire could anticipate. Outside the HMS Resolute, the stars twinkled in silence. Somewhere in the depths of space, the Zirans regrouped, nursing wounded pride in ships. They would return, but humans would be ready. Every human knew that their victory was not just about ships or weapons. It was about proving that a species often underestimated could rise to greatness. And in that moment, one truth shone brighter than the distant suns. Humanity had turned the tide. The galaxy had been forced to recognize the truth. Humans were not weak. They were unstoppable. The galaxy had changed. The stars, once silent witnesses to human insignificance, now bore testimony to their ingenuity and courage. Earth's fleet had survived the Xeran threat, had fought with precision, and had turned the tide of an interstellar war that few thought humanity could survive. Commander Elias Vega stood on the bridge of the HMS Resolute, looking out at the cosmos. The fleet had returned from the Boran cluster, battered but victorious. Each ship bore scars of battle, and each crew member carried the memories of close calls, sacrifices, and hard-won victories. But humanity had endured. "Status report," Elias said. Lieutenant Amara Lee's fingers moved rapidly across the controls. "All ships operational, sir. Repairs are underway, but the fleet is combat-ready. Sensor readings show Xeran remnants retreating beyond the cluster. No immediate threat detected, though they are likely regrouping." Elias nodded. "Good, keep monitoring, and send our data to Earth Command. We'll analyze every movement, every tactic. If the Xerans return, we need to be even smarter." The humans' victory had not gone unnoticed. Across the galaxy, alien empires that had once dismissed humanity now sent emissaries, ships, and messages of cautious respect. The small human fleet had achieved what massive empires had failed to do: survive and outmaneuver a foe previously considered unbeatable. A holographic message flickered to life on the bridge. Admiral Vorton of the Jarek Empire appeared, his bioluminescent skin shimmering. "Humans of Earth," he said carefully, a trace of humility in his voice. "We underestimated you. Your tactics, your courage, your coordination, it is unlike anything we have witnessed. We wish to offer an alliance and share resources for the defense of the galaxy." Elias studied the projection. "We appreciate your offer, Admiral. Humanity does not seek to dominate others without cause, but we will defend ourselves, our colonies, and our allies with all our strength. Cooperation is possible, but respect is required." Vorton inclined his head. "Understood. The galaxy has misjudged humans for centuries. That will no longer be the case." Even more significant were the reports from the Council. The oldest civilizations began quietly reassessing humans' potential. Analysts, tacticians, and diplomats debated endlessly. How had a fleet so small, so underestimated, outmaneuvered one of the galaxy's most feared enemies? On Earth, the mood was one of sober triumph. Cities buzzed with news of human victories, and civilians celebrated the fleet's return. But Commander Vega knew celebration alone could not prepare humanity for the challenges ahead. "Admiral, sensors indicate a significant increase in interstellar travel requests from smaller civilizations," Lieutenant Lee said. "They want to study our fleet, learn our tactics, and request protection." Elias smiled faintly. "That's good. They've seen what humans can do, and they want to be part of it. Humanity is no longer just a fledgling species in the galaxy. We are becoming a hub, a source of strength, innovation, and hope." Meanwhile, Chief Engineer Rana walked up beside Elias. "Sir, the fleet's repairs are nearly complete, but more importantly, we've been working on advanced modifications based on Xeran data. Faster engines, improved shields, and new weapon systems. By the next engagement, if one comes, we'll be ready to turn the tide even further." Elias nodded. "Excellent. We learned from their weaknesses and we've adapted. Humans always survive, Rana, not because we're the strongest, but because we never stop learning." The next weeks were filled with construction, training, and diplomacy. Humans sent missions to nearby systems, sharing knowledge cautiously, building alliances while maintaining Earth's strategic independence. Their fleet, small but technologically sophisticated, became a symbol of hope for civilizations oppressed or threatened by larger powers. One day, as Elias observed the training exercises from the Resolute, Lieutenant Lee approached. "Sir, simulations suggest that if we encounter the Zirans again, combined with other fleets that now trust us, we could launch a coordinated strike capable of ending their raids entirely." Elias' eyes narrowed. "We do not fight to destroy without cause. But if the Zirans return, we will be ready. And this time the galaxy will see not only that humans survive, but that humans dominate through strategy, courage, and teamwork." Far beyond human space, the Zirans regrouped, licking wounds and reconsidering their strategy. They had learned a harsh lesson: underestimating humans was dangerous. Their scouts reported human adaptability, unpredictability, and cunning. For the first time, they regarded humanity with respect and fear. Back on Earth, scientists and engineers continued to innovate. Humans built faster, more maneuverable ships and refined AI targeting systems. Fleet exercises became legendary in the galaxy for their complexity and efficiency. Every officer, every crew member understood their role perfectly, turning small fleets into overwhelming strategic forces. Diplomatic channels opened across the stars. Minor civilizations sought guidance, while older empires approached cautiously. Humanity had proven that even a young species could stand toe-to-toe with the galaxy's greatest powers. Admiral Vega convened his senior officers on the Resolute's bridge. "Look at what we've achieved," he said. "Not because we are the largest fleet, not because we have the most powerful weapons, but because we think, adapt, and fight with unity. Humanity has changed the galaxy's perception. We are no longer a curiosity. We are a force. And the galaxy will respect us or it will face the consequences." Chief Engineer Rana added, "We've also built faster research stations and forward outposts. Any civilization seeking protection or alliance can now count on humans. Our reach is growing." "Good," Elias said. "But remember this: power is nothing without responsibility. We have proven ourselves. We have shown that humans are adaptable, clever, and resilient. But we must also be careful. The galaxy is vast and threats are everywhere. Today's victory is tomorrow's lesson for our enemies and ourselves." As the human fleet prepared for the future, word arrived from the colonies protected during the Ziran attack. They had begun rebuilding with guidance from Earth's engineers, improving defenses and establishing new trade routes. The influence of humanity was spreading, not through conquest, but through leadership, courage, and ingenuity. Children on distant worlds whispered stories of the human fleet, the ships that survived impossible odds, the crews that never gave up, and the commander who always found a way to turn disadvantage into strength. Humanity's legend was growing. One evening, standing on a viewing platform above Earth's orbit, Elias looked at the stars. He thought of the Zirans, of the Council, and of countless civilizations that had doubted humans. And he knew one thing clearly: humanity had earned its place among the stars. Lieutenant Lee joined him silently. "Do you think they truly understand now?" she asked. Elias smiled faintly. "They will. The galaxy now knows that humans cannot be underestimated, and even if they try, they will always learn the same lesson the hard way." The wind of space carried faint sounds of activity from the fleet below: engineers working, crews training, ships moving, and children imagining the future. Humanity had survived the impossible. Humanity had outsmarted a deadly enemy. And humanity had begun to shape the galaxy in ways no one had expected. Far beyond, the Zirans plotted their next move. But this time, they did so with caution. Humanity had shown them that brute force alone was meaningless against a species that could think, adapt, and endure. Elias Vega turned back toward the bridge, addressing his officers. "The galaxy has learned our truth. Humans are clever, resourceful, and relentless. Our story does not end here. This is only the beginning. We will explore, we will defend, and we will rise further. And every civilization that doubted us will remember what happened here." Below the stars, the fleet prepared for its next mission, small but unstoppable. Earth had shown the galaxy the future, that a young species, underestimated and mocked, could survive, adapt, and thrive against the greatest challenges the universe could throw at them. And so, as humanity looked to the stars, the galaxy whispered a single undeniable truth. Never underestimate humans. They survive, they adapt, and when necessary they will prove unstoppable.